And that is what I'm against. That is what my everyday struggle is about. That is what I'm proving to myself. I fight every day to challenge my own faith, challenge my own God, my own whatever claim, understanding I have. What about you? What about him? Because at the end of the day, he has been able to make something with his life. But at the end of the day, also, we should always remember, I know how he has made something with his life. I know what he went through. So I have to point it to him and tell him that, hey, you sweat for yourself. Your blood, you really, you made it a human effort. You did that. It wasn't your God that did it. It wasn't a divine God that was doing that. In fact, the God that you were explaining to me is the same God I also talk about. It's the same God everybody sometimes most people talk about. As long as you claim the same thing that you claim. And you still went through all that. And we know that the God that we were talking about, the capabilities and how he blesses people, we know all that. It is written clear. But that wasn't how he blessed you. So why can't you admit and acknowledge to the fact that you have done it on your own? That you are equally neglected like me. But because of your initial, what they call a foundation, you were able to sort of build your life in certain ways that it sort of enabled you to blend with society and be able to build something and do something for your life. That is the only credit that you have. But some people didn't have the opportunity or the chances that maybe others got. So they cannot rise. They cannot, attain a better future. And they are struggling and they are going through all sort of hardship. If they are not lucky to come by something that will sort of bless them or open their doors for them, they are doomed. They sort of will hit the wall, because the whole human society, through manly efforts, sacrifices, has achieved all this. I mean, the scientific research has got a lot of credit and a lot of boasting to do when it comes to what life is today. And then you see a religious man just religion blending in and making claim that, but it is God who gave you the knowledge and all that nonsense we keep talking about it. You, your own religion self, you are not making sense of it. You don't see the wisdom of it, and you are claiming that your God has given wisdom to somebody. If you're claiming of your religious group, whatever religion you believe in, it's not making sense, or does not come with wise or in terms of the entire book, because there are certain statements in most of the religious books that make sense or are wise saying to say. They are all wise sayings, very ironic what do you call it, phrases that are being made that make sense. They really make sense. But in the entirety of the story, the entire book, they don't come out to make sense. I mean, even you take a storybook, and that storybook, there are storybooks that after you finish reading, you see where the story began and where it ends. It's different with the religious books. You find all sort of books that they've been put together, and sometimes you don't understand why that book was written, and that book cannot sort of be a continuation of that book. Of course, it can't be a continuation of that book, but you are claiming that the whole entire book does really make sense, or somehow it's a complete book, like a complete storyline, and that is not the truth. And if such a book is not a complete book, in its oneness, can you call that to be the wisest book on earth? I mean, in terms of the oneness of the book, the books that have been put together, do you think it is really complete? If it is not complete, you cannot make sense out of it. And that is the reason why we can't make sense out of the beast religion and all that. And if you can't make sense out of something, and you are saying that the what you are presenting does give you some sense of idea of a divine God, and that God somehow has got wisdom so much that his wisdom is what he has given to people, you are deceiving yourself. You are not making sense of what you are saying. You're not really having a solid point to base your life on. Most people, I know that whatever I claim to believe is purely my understanding, because I'm living with it. There's not much I can do. not to struggle every day to justify myself and challenge my faith, challenge my own God, challenge him that, why haven't you done this? You said this, or you mean that, or that and that. Why haven't you done it? Why is this, that? You are not capable of doing it. You've really misled me. It's my right to exercise. And so, if you condemn me and say my life is a wreck, I don't argue with you. In fact, that is exactly what I know. I'm aware of it more than you. I'm aware of it, and I see the roots of it, and I see the reason of it. And I'm telling you, religion and culture is a serious damnation. You are not realizing it. You are in the group in a hypocritical way, making your own life and giving credit to your faith or your religion, saying that your God is doing it for you. That's entirely your doing. But you see, if you want to make somebody king, it's no big deal. That person will enjoy that privilege that you're giving him. If you make him king and he virtually does not do anything for you, but you want to make him king, he will enjoy that. You are giving him that privilege. He will take it. You know, you are sick. He has to help you and make you well. He doesn't make you well, and you still want to make him king or make him God over you or father over you. That's entirely your own stupidity. You live with that. I don't do that. I don't see why I should do that. To my view, God doesn't want me to do anything for him until he does prove himself to be God, because he is trying to let me understand that there is nothing compared to him, and he is willing and ready to prove to me that he actually is God, because he knows, or he has let me understand, that there are so many other competitors. There are so many other disguising going on. There are so many false things going on. And that is one thing I should never underestimate. The ability of this universe has got negativities in it. And so if I allow myself in the slightest chance, I will be fooled. I can honestly say with every confidence that the entire world I live in today, evidently, whether rich people or the things I admire that I have seen in my own eyes, I do not think that it was like manna falling from heaven. I don't think so. I don't allow myself to think so, because there are evidence that prove that any successful thing that I see, any admirable thing that I have known, in the eyes of a man, in the eyes of those that I relate myself to, that I see, has been achieved through physical and some sort of a more evidential move. People did that, and it has got strong evidence that I can really point out to say, oh, this is what he did. This is how he worked his way through to got that, or this is how, in the human sense I'm talking about. And of course that's what I'm talking about. What else can I talk about? It's about people. It is people who worship. The dogs and the animals, they don't worship anything. They move on and do whatever they have to do. The rest of the living things don't do much. It's the human beings who claim religion, who claim worship, who claim divine God and all that. So if God hasn't done anything for you, you don't have to allow yourself to make a fool of yourself and draw others into it. You don't need to pull people to come into that group. You stand up in the morning, especially when you go to, let's say, outside countries like Britain or America. If you're a foreigner, you have to wake up in the morning. Sometimes you have to do an early morning job, do an afternoon job, do a night job. Some people have to work 4 or 5, before you can really earn the living. You're telling me that is a divine help? Are you sick in the head? How can that be a divine God? I don't know. If you disagree with me, I don't know what you are disagreeing with me with. I'm talking about divine help. Do you think there is any divinity in your effort of how you have achieved your success? Whether you're getting $100, dollars or pounds or whatever money, even if you are not outside of this, this Western group, and you are in West Africa or Brazil, whichever way, you get up in the morning, whatever you do. Some people had to do manual jobs. Others also have to even end up doing prostitution. Anything that you are doing, you gain, and then you want to tell me. I will enter into any religious group or any religious institution, And all those individuals, except those who don't work and they work for the foundation or the sort of institution,